Here I come, oblivion. Soul laid bare, foul and fair, every secret, every odyssey. Answers unfold, one with the truth, the divine. By my guiding hand, Africa's dead. I won't be denied. You are mine, you are blind, a fool till the end. Cast out for a more, I create, manipulate. You're kind in my image, my chosen ones. For you the time has come, the sun is setting. Say goodnight. With each bite does your sanity die, sucking the life out, letting the dark inside. Say a prayer as the light leaves your eyes. So scream all you like, your gods can't hear you. Say at night to the weakness that you hide behind, believing the lies, feeding the fear inside. Never once were you truly alive. So scream all you like, no one can hear you. Die, breathing my thrive. These seeds rotten and reaping the fruits of your wickedness divine. Come take a bite. Cry, please resist me no more. Twisted and broken, farewells left unspoken. Journey's end, as I said. Pandemonium. Here I rise, claim my prize. Every moment, every sacrifice. In an abyssios, I am the truth, the divine. By my guiding hand, perfected we stand. I won't be denied. You are mine, you are blind, a fool till the end. Cast down forevermore. I create, manipulate. You're kind in my image, my chosen ones. For you the time has come, the sun is setting. Say goodnight. With each bite does your sanity die, sucking the life out, letting the dark inside. Say a prayer as the light meets your eyes. So scream all you like, your gods can't hear you. Say at night to the weakness that you hide behind, believing the lies, feeling the fear inside. Never once were you truly alive. So scream all you like, no one can. Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Just please, savage nobles, touch these. Say goodnight. Give me lies, follow me. Say goodnight. See the murders, follow me. Say goodnight. Follow me. Say goodnight.
Child, bastard, and beast, oh lost them first to the feast. Come claim if you're able a spot at this table, mild and meek, down on your knees. For hide and seek, it's time that we feed. Your heart is racing, blood is running cold. Your fractured will is whispering. Far away, hear me lions, say goodnight. With each bite does your sanity die, sucking the life out, letting the dark inside. Say a prayer as the light leaves your eyes. I'll scream all you like, your light me can't hear. Scream now, scream, your light. sanity dies. Sucking the life out, letting the dark inside. Say a prayer as the light leaves your eyes, or scream all you like, your life, it can't hear you scream. Now scream out, the walls can't hear you. Dressed in rage inside my cage, almighty Buddha still bound to the flame that I bear, buried alive in the coffin of the hope I used to be. I'll scream all I like, 'cause we're all men here. Reach inside, you can run but there's nowhere to hide. So scream all you like, no one can hear us. Follow me, come follow me to mighty Buddha, still bound to the flame that I bear. No release from this empty waking wonderland. Just believe if you like, 'cause we're all men here. Scream all you like, 'cause we're all men here. One brings shadow, one brings light. Two-toned echoes tumbling through time. Three stories sit and cast aside. For knowing no end in sight. One brings shadow, one brings light. Two-toned echoes tumbling through time. Three stories sit and cast aside. For knowing no end in sight. All our splendor beat like a silence. Our surrender, a song reverie, slowly drifting down into twilight, left to sifting through fading memories. Know our places for what is wordless, evanescent, describing on the wall. Rather stay this descent to madness. Come and save us, catch us before we fall. Riding home, riding home, finding home, those home. Like broken angels, wingless, cast from heaven's gates. Our soaring demons away. We only fly when falling, falling far from grace. Our lives a message in a bottle cast to sea. Quick to their ends, our candles burn until we're free. In the rain, to line and darkness fade. Yes, time circles endlessly. All these chains drawn to the flame, to rise from the ashes to begin. We first must see the end. One brings shadow, one brings light. Two-tone echoes tumbling through time. Restore wasted and cast aside. Oh, no, no, no end inside. One brings shadow, one brings light. Two-tone echoes tumbling through time. Restore wasted and cast aside. Oh, no, no, end inside. Rock of ages, we cast the first stone. In our cages, we know now what we need from there. Deep inside, we're nothing more than science and sinners. In the rain, to light and darkness fade. Yes, time circles endlessly. The hands of fate train ahead, right to the edge. All things change, drawn to the flame, to rise from the ashes. To begin, we
time, take flight. Find your wings and spread them wide. Time for the journey of our life. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? No more running. Time, seize the day and hold on tight. The sun is rising. Time, take it slow and take a bite, one day at a time. Time, no more once upon a time, take flight. Find your wings and spread them wide. Time for the journey of our life. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? No more running, no more running. Time, seize the day and hold on tight. The sun is rising. Time, take it slow and take a bite, one day at a time. Where do we go? 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 No more running. Time, seize the day and hold on tight. The sun is rising. Time, take it slow and take a bite, one day at a time.
Everyone, and welcome to Saturday. How is everybody today? We are here with Meowth and Ayumi. How are you both today?
Tired.
My brain being on absolute overworked, but
You dragged me awake to our brand new time slot, and it kills me. 'Cause
Yes.
It's on a weekend.
Kicking
Saturday.
and screaming. The last one was on a weekend too.
I didn't know about it until you sent a notification like bing, 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 bing. Get on the mic.
I mean, Saturday was also. Sorry.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't remember that we had changed the time slot until 7 a.m. This morning.
Today.
Right down the bot.
I was about to go to sleep, and I was like, okay, so because I told I'm helping a friend go, well, accompanying more like latching on the Shadowbringers train, of course.
Right. So
And
yeah.
so yeah.
Yay, it's like Saturday morning cartoons. Yes, exactly.
Did you already get him?
Hey, Kappa.
It looks like you already did. Yep.
Get who? What?
Nothing. I just saw it.
Oh, okay. So, we had a live letter on Friday.
Yes.
AC Gears and Arms says it's pretty early for a Saturday morning. Also found out the cream cheese I had gotten moldy as I was toasting my bread. Imagine my disappointment. That is awful. I have not had my bagel and cream cheese today, so
Toasting in an epic bread.
that just sounds like a big tub of disappointment, honestly. I'm sorry.
Just reverse the T and the B.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a live letter yesterday, and along with that, we had a launch trailer, and we were planning on talking about the launch trailer next week, but there's no reason not to talk about it this week since it's already out. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And there was a lot of other stuff that came out in the live letter. I'm going to kick it over to Ayumi, because Ayumi has been diving into all the screens and the summaries of it.
Because Cobb can't pull it up on his screen.
That's not true, but I'm laser now. I have it. The scene.
So on my end, to be fair, on my end, I couldn't pull it up, but I was watching Twitter on the account Nova Crystallis. They're usually the ones that kind of cover all of the live updates of the live letters and any kind of event. Oh,
yes, they're really great. Fabulous exploding crystals.
So I was following along with them. It's a lot of the updates we kind of already knew, and a lot of them were covered by various content creators during their experiences with the game
tour.
through with their media tour
Right.
experiences. So we got to see a lot of the new areas. We finally got to see Solution 9.
Yes.
Which was cool. Heritage Found 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally got a description of all of the characters on the box art.
Yep.
Including the one at the top.
The mysterious woman. Which is not a description at all.
Well, we always knew that they were going to hide some people's names.
Right.
But a lot of people are theorizing based on her clothing and some things, but we'll get to that.
Right. So, yes. So I think at this point, we should dive right into the launch trailer.
Yeah. Launch trailer was pretty good. Pretty good. It didn't tell a lot, but it told enough.
It was a repeat of the Endwalker trailer. It was like showing some scenes, the dialogue not matching, and not saying a damn thing.
I mean, that's
and then throwing up a red flag at the end.
That's pretty much the MO for 14 at this point. Is it shows a lot of things, it tells you nothing. It's just supposed to get you hyped, and I think it does a decent enough job of that. AC Gears says, I find it endearing that Wuklamot still calls her father what is essentially daddy in the trailer. I know she says Papa, but it's close enough. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fair.
All right, let me get this set up. So I am going to transition over to this scene here. Ta-da! And we're gonna go through the launch trailer. Let me know if it's too loud or if it's not loud enough. So
Should we go through it once without pausing and then...
We're gonna watch it and then we're gonna go through it really slow and frame by frame it, basically.
All
right.
There's no sound on
No
this.
sound.
No sound. All right. That's
I had it all the way up.
because my desktop audio is full. Again with the audio issues. Let's go back. I'm just gonna let it play and then hopefully. Nope, still no desktop audio. What fun. Let's see here.
Still here.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Sorry, I had a mic issue. And try that again. For some reason, the desktop audio is not cooperating. So I'm gonna have to well, by all means, fill the air, Meowth and Ayumi, while I get this figured out.
So.
Yes. Dance,
It's
Meowth,
okay.
dance.
It's okay. I've got this. I've got this. So what, Meowth, did you watch the entire live letter or did you watch just a portion of it? Were you able to just skim through it or did you watch the entire thing?
I got this. Meowth, have you?
No, I'm kind of bouncing questions off of you. I'm going to talk about it.
I'm just pulling your leg.
Right. I have two legs, so
So, I watched
there we
the
go. We
entire...
have sound.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Later, then.
See how easy that was?
Well, for once, the fate of the world doesn't rest on our shoulders. We might even get a chance to enjoy ourselves.
Do not be so quick to relax.
Just wait, Papa. When this contest is said and done, it'll be your daughter who sits the throne. Me, Woklamat!
And so does our ship cast off from the docks. In retrospect, of course, that battle against the storm would prove a fitting prelude to the coming contest for the throne.
You four will compete in the rite of succession. The outcome of which will decide who takes my place as Dawn Serpent.
We are blessed siblings, the elevated chosen.
Our nation can change for the better.
I am bound to no one.
Woklamat, protector of peace and soon-to-be Dawn servant.
A waste of time. I can always take what I need later.
Our nation is a fortress, and its people the bricks with which it is built.
It is through embracing innovation that we will usher Tuli Yolal onto a more prosperous future. Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict.
All this time, it was here, the city of gold.
A golden light. Could it be?
Much about the key remains shrouded in mystery.
What in the world is that?
What is this relic of theirs? Who made it? And to what end?
I will be the next Dawn servant, and I'll protect my people's happiness to the last!
With your strength, could you have held fast to that which is dear without sacrifice?
Here we have the closing shot of Raúl Montoya. So, yes.
Me
Thoughts?
llamo Íñigo Montoya. Tu
Not
mataste a mi
Inigo
padre.
Montoya. That's copyright infringement. Raúl Montoya.
Prepárate a morir.
So there's a whole lot to unpack in this trailer.
Verses in Spanish.
Yeah. So the first thing that I noticed that made me really happy is every time we see a boss or a fight related to Solution 9, there's lightning, which solidifies my whole screaming that this city runs on lightning ether. Lots of lightning, which means lots of darkness. So let's go back. And let's go. So I'm actually going to turn the volume down on this because it's going to be the storm in the beginning reminds me, why is the rum done?
I was gonna say at 25 speed, we're gonna hear lots of.
That's why I turned the volume way down. Yeah. All right. So obviously we're gonna start in Charlayan because they have the shipping routes to Tural, which is we built this city on lightning. Yeah. The lightning returns. No, the lightning.
Well,
never
we also started back in Charlayan with
Yes.
Buklamat and Grahatia. We were talking with them
right
before.
But it's so yes, it makes sense to start in Charlayan because that's where we left off. In game wise, it would have made more sense to start in Limsa though, because Limsa is where all the expeditions to Tural started.
Right, and they're also the big ports. They have all of the big ships going in and out.
Right. Even to this day, like all of the mercenaries and the trade ships go through Limsa, not as much Charlayan. But I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for this, so we'll continue.
Geographically speaking, isn't all Charlayan closer to the New World?
Geographically, yes. But if you...
You still have to cross a very dangerous ocean in order to get there.
Yeah. It's a dangerous ocean, and also if you think about the curvature of the sphere, instead of looking at the world as a flat map, yes, it's way closer. So
You have to cross the Indigo Deep to get to Charlene. You have to cross the Indigo Deep, and then you have to cross another ocean in order to get to Tural.
right. So here's something interesting. We see Gratia being left behind.
I don't really want to get my hopes up, but
I don't think
because
that's gonna stick.
yeah, that's where my hopes end. It's like,
Listen, he only wanted to come to Tural to test the tacos.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be there. AC Gear said AC went to Tural from Limsa. Yeah, exactly. So we're the only ones silly enough to go there from Charlayan. I think we just left old Charlayan for story convenience. Aaronville made the prep for the voyage. Yeah, pretty much. We were already there, so there was no reason not to go from there. And pass by the shady Bermuda Triangle. Yes, exactly. Now there's twice as many people on the dock waving goodbye, which means that either a bunch of people join them or it's a different scene. So I think there's going to be a lot more ships going from, Eorzea to Tural. And I think most of them are going to come out of Limsa. Although Graha, since he's already in Charlayan. Yeah. But this is one of the reasons that Indigo Deep is so perilous, is because of all the storms. And there's a lot of water between Eorzea and Aldenard and Vilbrand and Tural. So, very perilous journey.
we basically get the confirmation that the Warrior of Light's team, so to speak, is Alfina and Alice and Ernville and Wuklamat.
Yes.
Okay.
Which also, I'm kind of happy that we didn't make the journey on a dinghy. I was very worried about that in the trailer, but it looks like that was just artistic license. And Kryl, yes. And Krill.
And Kryl.
Yes.
Kryl, okay.
So Wuklamat is going to be the next Dawn servant. Which two of her competitors are actually decent people. Who, it doesn't matter. There's a 75% chance if we do nothing that everything will be fine. But there's 25% chance that Dingy McDingerson is going to win, and his idea of making Tural more prosperous is invading Eorzea. Blue-footed booby. Yep. And here we have the in-game shot of the shot from the trailer, which is nice. It's very Caribbean in how the water looks. This is very that clear blue. Another shot of Raul Montoya.
Yeah, we're basically going to the West Indies.
Yeah.
And it seems that the narrator for the expansion is Aaronville, which is an interesting choice. I'll go on that later.
So yeah, you know what? Let's go into that now.
Okay.
So I think it's very interesting. They gave the Vieira Icelandic accents. Aaronville also has that Icelandic accent. And then they said, okay, it's from Tural. And then, unless we find a Vieira village here, which I really hope that we find his home village, and they all have Icelandic accents, it makes me wonder, where did he get that accent from? Because it makes me wonder if accents in this game aren't a regional thing, but more of a, not cultural, but a...
In certain races in 12, it's not outright stated, but it's when, of course, in Ivalice there's so many races, and Vieira being one of them. I recall certain mention, not in game per se, but I recall certain material saying that the Vieira do have as a race a natural lisp.
Yeah,
which you can translate perhaps into the Hrothgar, for example.
Continue talking, but I have something to say.
Yeah, but it's a racial accent, not a regional or cultural accent, which is interesting if you think about it. AC Gear says, I have a sneaking suspicion that Bakul Jaja won't take losing lying down, so he might try and invade anyways if we don't deal with him this expansion or in the subsequent patches. I agree. I think that Yeah, we saw the V's and Shadowbringers have the Icelandic accent, Lena and the Fanal V's. Yes, absolutely. And I think it's that they have just a very shared heritage. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Tural is a very diverse place. So, yeah, we will see. I like how Mesoamerican Tural looks. It's very interesting.
Then again, it would be amusing on a different sense if we go for Icelandic / Nordic accents for the Viera, and Erenville says he's from Tural. Considering that the first discoverers of America were the Vikings.
Yes, Leif Erikson. So yeah.
So.
And yeah,
I just want to interject here. Going back to the map. The location of Old Charlayan compared to Tuliolal.
Mm-hmm.
We do have to pass through the Indigo Deep, but we also pass through a second sea.
Yes.
Called the Stardust Sea.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going straight from north to southwest. In doing so, we pass by the crack that exists between the two continents. It's literally, we cross right over it.
Yep.
We also pass by the Shades Triangle, which will be our new field operation.
Yep.
In 7.0.
Well,
I just thought that was neat because this could be a point of contention that the Warrior of Light will have to talk about and contend with.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things in the trailer was, of course, Alice holding on for dear life and flailing around. So that could be a reference to the Shades Triangle or the Stardust Sea itself, how dangerous it is.
Right.
Or the Indigo Deep, we never know.
Yeah. Will any of the other Hrothgar and Tural have the Slavic accent? Wuk-Lamat is an exception. I honestly don't know. And that's the thing that kind of throws me off, is I know Erenville has the accent that Erenville has because he was introduced before Tural and any of this. So he is very consistent with everything we've seen up to that point. And I know I'm overthinking this. It's just let it be. But culturally speaking, like where would that fit in? And the same thing with Wuk-Lamat. I get it. Culturally, she was raised by the Dawn Servant. So, of course, she would, have an accent that sounds kind of like his, which he has a full-on Spanish accent, which is kind of awesome. But anyway, we'll go back. What else? Tuliyoyal means literally you are here, or this is where you are, which I think is really interesting.
It's like one of those maps in the malls. Like you try to orientate yourself, and it's like the less helpful thing for orientating yourself because it says you are here, and I'm like, yeah, but where's here?
Yeah. So it's like Kettenram asked, what is this place? And they're like, yeah, you're here. Tuliyollal. It's God, I don't know how to spell it.
Gimme.
It's like Tulliyollal.
Yeah, it's Tulliyollal.
Yes. And then here we have the giant mountain in the Andes.
So, question.
Yeah.
I because we've shown this mountain a number of times, but it seems something poignant. But for some reason, I believe that mountain. Sorry, it's going to be more related to us feeling Valigarmanda, rather than it's very well where the creature is located, or at least the place where we will be fighting it. I don't think this. I think it's in an important location, but I don't think it's like the real final secret location.
So yeah, I agree. and there's two reasons I agree with that. One, obviously, it's very prominent. The name, though, Orcopacha, is Quechuan for world mountain, or mountain that holds up the world in this case. And so I think this is going to be, at least culturally, a significant like place. And
it's a mountain range that as actually extends from the west of the southern continent of Tuliyollal all the way to the bottom.
Yeah,
it literally does hold up the quote unquote world,
right,
from the rest of Tuliyollal.
Yeah,
it's a huge mountain range.
Yeah,
from just like the what's it called in South America? That mountain range,
the Andes.
Andes, yep.
Yeah. Is it a mountain or a plateau? It's like Devil's Tower. It looks like
yes.
It is a mountain with a plateau on top.
There is a plateau surrounding Tuliyollal itself, and that's called Yaktel.
Yep. A Mesa. There we go. Thank you.
Mesa. Yes.
Thank you, Kappa. I don't know words. So yes, that it's very reminiscent of the Andes, and that whole zone is basically Peru, which is kind of mind blowing.
It is. Yeah. Geographically, it is like Peru.
Right.
There's rivers that extend almost all the way inland.
Mm-hmm. Now, Meowth, I'm sorry, and I'm going back to Shadowbringers here. Do you remember in Lakeland those little vine things in the north? Like by where Holminster Switch is?
The Yataveo?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you laugh when you saw those like I did? I see you. I'm sorry.
But, I mean, yeah, it was like... I was like... I'm not sure if these were meant to be on purpose, but well played. But won't fool any Spanish speaker.
Right. No, in Spanish, basically, "Ya te veo" means "I already see you." So I was like, "I see you already. You can come out." I just thought it was funny. Anyway, so here we have one of the boss fights. A lot of cactars here, so this
it
is
looks
basically...
like it looks like how you defeat it is, or how you do the mechanic is, once it hits those cactuses, you get away from it immediately.
Yeah, and it's basically gonna be like the Mojave. It looks like, especially considering you've got saloons and a western town there.
That's on the northern part of the continent.
Here we have Gulal Jaja. No, yeah.
Meowth and Cumberon, I actually linked a interactive map for you to look at.
Fantastic. I like it. We'll look at it after this. Estinian. So I'm assuming that fight is going to be Estinian trying to fight him on behalf of another applicant, group. I guess. Obviously not a fight to the death, but...
No. One that he'll lose.
Right. What's in the water for the cactars to become barrel tenders? Ceruleum. So here we have...
that's when we find out it's actually beneficial to drink at the gym.
Right. It's full of protein. So this whole expansion's being kind of set up, or not set up, but it's being portrayed as a tournament arc. I don't think that's going to last very long.
No, the only tournament arc that we're going to have is the Arcadian.
Yeah. So
that's going to be the tournament, the world tournament, like Budokai and Dragon Ball Z.
Right. But, I don't think that's going to last more than like a third of the story until something happens. This guy, one of the applicants, presumably, yes, because two heads are known as blessed children. So he's like, we're blessed children.
That's the cool Jaja.
Yes, this is the asshole.
So I'm noticing a theme here in terms of the Mamulja, the Mamulja belief that the two-headed twins, so to speak, are blessed.
Correct.
And I'm seeing a theme with Alfina and Alice being always the ones who accompany the Warrior of Light, and to a degree, Erenville and Wook Lamont being childhood friends, but kind of. I suppose they're close enough as to suppose that perhaps they're being growing up like siblings in a sense, because their banter is very sibling-like. So I'm thinking there's a theme here when it comes to I don't know how to put it. The concept of twins.
Okay. I can see that, yeah.
Where does that lead? I again with the this is one of the main reasons I'm kind of like why all the roads lead to Ultima and why all the roads lead back to itself. But this is my current state of mind. But there's something about the concept of twins that seems to be really. It's something tells me that's going to be the concept is going to be really important, and we can go if we want to keep going. This is basically my 2 cents right now.
I think
so.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read off Bakul Jaja's kind of frame here. Lacking direct ties to the Dawn Servant, this vainglorious two-headed claimant earned his place in the right of succession by triumphing in a martial tournament. He is loudly contemptuous of other peoples, his derision of inferior one's heads extending even to his fellow Mamulja. So he's going to be our literal racist.
Yes, so I was going to say he's a super racist.
So he not only thinks of us as savages, our group as savages, but the Mamulja with one head as savages. He only considers the ones who have two heads to be the ones who are superior.
That's not a lot of them. But why does everyone think that we're the savages? The Garleans, the Mamulja?
But it's... So, it's an interesting. It's an interesting change of paradigm in the sense that Garlemald, for example, was a highly technological nation, but the people, at least the thing about Tural, I'm not going to say they're primitive because they're not, clearly, but it's more like it comes like from something that we'll call very much inspired by indigenous tribes, so to speak, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like a stark contrast between Garlemald being this not hyper tech, but definitely technological nation with black steel and cars and industrial development and magitech, to Tuliyola, which is all naturey and lush jungle. And it seems to be a kind of an idyllic nation of in harmony with nature, but there's still, say, supremacists in here. There's still
the tribalism that exists between the two peoples.
Yeah.
And it's so and people. I'm not sure how many people know of this, but in certain tribal societies, they do look down upon more quote unquote civilized people as to have lost their connection with nature, and they would look down upon us because of this, because we are inferior humans that no longer can survive, we can no longer hunt and all that. So there's it's kind of like I suppose you could say no one is exempt from believing that they are superior, regardless of, culture,
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
AC Gear says, I'm hoping we had a dialogue option to tell Bakul Jaja what happened to the last two-headed jerk we dealt with, which is Mola Jaja in the Wanderer's Palace in ARR. That's going back. But yeah, he was another
That
contender.
is probably why the Muolja treat the twins well. Because Alice is in the trailer,
Yep.
and so they probably do treat them well because of the way that Bakul Jaja is around other one-headed creatures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's like, if only we could mash you two together, and then you'd have two heads, and then you'd be a blessed child too.
And that's
introduce some
probably
body
why
armor.
Wuklamat warned us of a singular person who does not need to be on the throne, and this would probably be him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the one guy that can't win, and none of the Scions are going to be on this guy's side.
No.
Like Estinian and Thancred and Urianger are going to be... I think they're not going to be pulling for the same contender, but they're going to be pulling for the two other contenders.
Yeah.
And so it'll be like a friendly competition. Meanwhile, this guy is just going to try and, mess everything up.
Knock us all out, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Estinian would be on his side, maybe suck it in by propaganda. Maybe. We'll see. I don't think so. But yeah, we'll keep going.
Oh.
So he's talking about blessed children here, and the next scene, the guy's talking about how, we can make the future of Tural better. And again, he's talking about the contenders, presumably. That doesn't mean that's the scene where he's talking about.
Go ahead and stop at this scene. I'll go ahead and read off the plug for him.
Yes.
So that was Koana. He's respected for his brilliant mind and practical attitude. He is the adoptive son of Tuliola's ruling family and hopes to usher his home into the new age of prosperity. It remains to be seen if technology and innovation will prove sufficient allies to overcome his fellow claimants in the right of succession.
Okay.
Koana is really interesting to me in the sense that Wuklamat and the other contenders seem to be all battle-hardened warriors who have earned... It's like a bit of the trope of ass-kicking equals authority.
Right.
And Koana is here being... many people, when they saw his design, they were like, nerd. And this is why... This is one of the reasons, I believe, maybe Koana is the answer to the Dawn throne.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's also a machinist.
Yes.
He's a machinist.
Yes, he is.
Extra points for him. I love machinist mates.
His model has a gun on his back and a little device on the side.
Yeah. And he's a Miko.
He is.
Yeah. And then we have a Viper here that we're seeing, who has presumably triumphed in combat against...
that is... Go ahead and pause there.
Yeah. That's Zoral Ja.
Zoral Ja, yep. He is the first promise of Tuliolo. Zoralja serves as the commander of the Landsguard, the redoubtable warriors who preserve the land's peace.
Yep.
His martial prowess is rumored to rival even that of the Dawn Servant, with many regarding him as the foremost candidate in the right of successsion.
Yeah, I could see
So
that.
he is the guards captain.
He is basically Lena of Tural.
I see a constant thing here, which is, like I said before, they seem to be building Tuliola's succession on martial prowess, with Koana being the sole exception. And this you could trace this to a hint of militarism in a sense, and they would not and they wouldn't be much different from Garlemald in that aspect.
I would argue not so much militarism, but a warrior culture.
Yeah, I mean, you get where I mean. The Garleans are warriors in that aspect too. You just like they're organizing legions and all that stuff. So that's why we think of them as military.
They have a more Roman culture, whereas this culture has a more tribal and indigenous culture.
Yeah, I think the word you're looking for is imperialistic.
Imperialistic, yep.
Yeah, so
fair.
versus here, it's more about your actual prowess on an individual level, whereas there it's the combined force of arms.
Right. And your status too. Your status.
So yeah, absolutely.
Where you were born, who were you born into, determines where you lead.
Right. Definitely a Viper. You can see the connectors on the blades, so those blades can connect. And also, we don't have any, unless he's a ninja, which he's not.
No.
There are no blades that are that long that are dual wielded.
No. Well, hold on. Hold my daggers.
Yeah.
There are blades with ninja that are extremely long. And
That's true. There are. But I just feel like they're showcasing Viper here.
They are definitely.
AC Gear says, I'm guessing Kuwana is a fighter to fight smarter, not harder. He can fight, but is more exceptional with his mind in combat. I absolutely agree, especially being a machinist. He's more likely to use his ingenuity to try and overcome
tactics,
challenges like that. Yeah. So continue. Yeah. This guy with his moon fork. Then back to Wuklamat. I think her voice actress did a great job. I'm not a huge fan of Wuklamat yet, but I think that she has a kind of infectious optimism and enthusiasm that I really appreciate.
Senna Breyer did a great job.
Yeah. So here we see the transition between the zones. We are going into Urkopacha.
Yes.
From what is presumably the not Mesoamerican, the Mojave Zone, which is Cosmo Canyon, essentially, where that's going to be. I guarantee we're getting a Cosmo Canyon. It's going to be Lapis Canyon. Wuklamat. Yeah, doing the Wild West American thing, absolutely. So here we got Wuklamat fighting, what is it, Bakul?
Well, you can't see his other head.
Yeah. Presumably.
Oh, you can.
Yeah. Yeah, presumably Bakul.
It's on the other side. Yep, it's right on the other side. That's Bakul.
Yeah. And it looks like this is in a city, so I don't want to say this is like an unsanctioned match between them. Can alchemists mix up a Cosmo Canyon? You know what? I don't know, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try and mix up.
We'll do it in Penacony.
Yeah. So, have it with some so glad. So, interesting that there's a lot of discovery to be had here. So this is Wuklamat holding an ancient relic here. Presumably having to do with the City of Gold. I'm not entirely sure, but it's very, was it Mayan or Aztec?
It's two soldiers fighting against what seems to be a Mamulja.
Yes. So, yeah, he's holding her off one-handed. Exactly. So I think with Bakul
reminds me of Tetris.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I think Bakul is going to have a little bit of Xenos syndrome in Stormblood, where he's just so powerful that it's annoying, and I really hope that we specifically don't fight him at first. I really think that would be doing a disservice, because that first Xenos fight in Stormblood was very obnoxious, because it was just so... It didn't matter if you beat him through, skill or whatever, like you still lost. And that was incredibly obnoxious. So I don't think it would be a good idea for them to have us fight Bakul Jaja at the outset. Just have Wuklamat be kind of a proxy and have her get her ass kicked, and we're just kind of like, well, time to get stronger.
I would say it would be difficult right off the bat to try to pit a character against a character like Xenos, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I hope they learn their lesson from that. I really don't want to see that. We should fight Bakul Jaja near the end, not near the beginning. We know he's a threat. We don't need to. I mean, they're going to show us how powerful and dangerous he is, but I hope that, yeah. I tested it. You can only take at best 10% of his health at the reach before Xenos gets immune. Yeah, but he gets immune, which is kind of bullshit. So why even have that? The cutscene, I think, did a great job of showing that Xenos was ridiculously strong. You don't need to give us a fake fight in order to showcase that. So
confirm that Cobran doesn't like a hard stop and fight. He wants to continue.
This tablet's also interesting because here we've got a crystal at the bottom that is glowing purple, which indicates lightning. So this might have something to do with Solution 9. And I'm spitballing here just because of the color connection. But there's going to be a lot of focus on lightning ether in this. Kind of like Heavensward. There's a lot of focus on ice ether. And if they're doing, basically, they're in the Heavensward of this next cycle, then it's really it's very balanced for them to do lightning. Yeah, pitting a 61 versus a level 70 boss is never a good idea. Yeah, exactly. And here, oh, I love this. I love this. So this is Valley Garmonda. Frozen in a block of ice, just like in Final Fantasy VI.
I haven't played 6, but even I know about Valley Garmonda being frozen in ice.
Yeah.
You actually see him on the map, on the new map that they showed off. He is in the southern region, along with several other beasts. If you bring up the map.
Yeah.
He's one of 3 others.
Just like the 4 lords are on the map in Othard. And we beat the snot out of all of them. And in the north, there's a Godzilla thing that we still have not fought. I want to kill it, whatever it is.
That's over in Othard, though. This one over here is one of several different beasts. So I wholeheartedly hope that they are some of the extreme trials that we get throughout the expansion.
I hope so. That would be nice. I'm just really excited because in Final Fantasy VI, we find Valley Garmonda pretty much in, Tritok, exactly, at the beginning of the game. And he's in a mine. And the whole reason that you're going there is because, the miners discovered this Esper in the mine. And the Empire goes to claim it, basically, to suck it dry and use it to fuel more Magitech soldiers. But here I'm really interested because it looks like it's part of, like, it's not in a mine so much. It looks like it's almost an object of reverence, because it has this intricate structure around it, and there's structure behind it as well. So I don't know if it was sealed.
It's
here.
definitely not Solution 9.
No, this is definitely not
Solution 9.
No. But there is ether power here, as you can see the light in the bottom right. Maybe Summoner should have gotten Valley Garmonda instead of Stolar Bahamut. Maybe. Maybe. They might have done a lot better. These are
ruins, so I would assume in one of the, not newer areas, but one of the early areas.
Yeah. Also, something to note that this might be a relic of the Giant era. Just based on how large the structures are, and then some of the other structures could have come in later. Although if you look at some of the blocks on the edge, you can see the very Mesoamerican looking inscriptions on the rocks, which I think is a great testament to the graphics update that we can see something like that now. We don't have such... Yeah, it might be Solution 8. Exactly. So
Yakui giants.
Yeah. Could be. So we'll see. But the more I look at it now, the more I'm like, maybe it's just a very large structure. Not necessarily belonging to the giants. So who knows? But up here you can see kind of the detailing in the stone, and the same on the other side. So I don't know. This just made me really happy looking at it. Also, apparently, Valley Garmonda in this is an insect. He's got 4 legs back here and then 2 wings, so 6.
Okay, continue.
Yeah.
That's one of the best takes you've had all.
I've had a lot of hot
day.
takes this week. A rich tapestry of history. And here, I like this. Because we've got this whole image. And credit to their artists. Like, this looks phenomenal. This up here.
We've got
it looks like
tapestry again.
Yeah. So, in Inca culture, the sun was a very, very prominent figure. And of course, here you have the sun kind of appearing as the source of everything. So everything below it is looking at the sun. I just thought it was a really cool detail that they did. But then you look at the middle and it's got lines in it. It looks like it's got an open mouth and 2 googly eyes. So I'm not quite sure what that is in the middle, but it's like it's taking the place of the sun as the source of all life. So don't know. I'm curious to find out where they're going with that.
We will find out.
Though again, the shape of how it's drawn, the solar figure, it's extremely reminiscent of the alchemical symbol of Sol, which is the one in the Asam crystal. It's the dot in the middle with the line around. Though Asam's crystal has a particular peculiarity, which is it's not. So if you see the symbol of Sol, is basically the dot in the middle with the circle around. But Asam's crystal has 2 dots, like 2 stars, etched in the circle, which I do believe I can't figure out what it means, but regardless, it's really reminiscent of that.
Yes, I've always joked that Asam's crystal is just a depiction of a hydrogen atom, which very abundant. But yeah, that's just kind of my hot take.
So if you want my personal interpretation as if the dots are stars and Asam is in the middle, then the 2 other stars, as in the triad, would be Hades and Hythlodaeus. Like the orbiting stars around Asam.
Right. No, it's
But
very
again-
possible. Yeah, but anyway, we're digressing. I like this open area. It's like a plaza. Hopefully it's in Tural because it looks really cool. And judging by how busy it is, I would say that it would be in a capital city. Arriving in Tural, maybe. I don't know. Wuklamot looks very tired here. So I don't think this is arriving in Tural. This is definitely after she's just gotten beat.
Or riding upriver.
Yeah, this is probably after she fights Bukal Jaja. And she's just like having a crisis of confidence. I don't know why they include a scene of her just like being slumped over and sad here, and everyone else is like looking at the waterfalls, and she's just like,
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know why you're out of breath.
Yeah, it's like these waterfalls are stunning, but they're not that great. No, but no, it's just interesting. Everyone's kind of not paying attention to her. And she's obviously having a crisis here. So
Could also be her at the end of the dungeon.
that could be, yeah. Here we have the balloons and the airships that they're gonna have over there. I love this. So this reminds me of one of my favorite scenes from Heavensward, which was the campfire
Heavensward.
scene. Yeah. Which they do waterfall. First new group. Pull the lever. If we get a Krunk or an Yzma, I will be so happy.
This scene is where we ask Alphinaud to give us more firewood.
Yeah. We're in a desert. Go chop trees. But there are no trees.
Grab more firewood.
If they want, so I'm not really, I'm not much of a Disney person at all. But The Emperor's New Groove is certainly one of my favorite movies from Disney by far.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to make, and knowing kind of like Koji and the whole meme lore thing, the amount of memes they could pull from Emperor's New Groove into this for levity would be amazing.
They need to. And yes, as AC Gears points out, this is a Pelu Pelu right here that we're camping with, presumably as a guide. And Aaron Bell, of course, over here doing something. But this is probably going to be part of our journey through Urkapacha. So.
It's basically the scene of the... No, go.
Sorry, that scene that popped up here, this area is one of the areas I'm most looking forward to.
The mystical forest?
Yes. It reminds me of Makalania Forest from 10. And I am so excited for that. And if the Pelu Pelu is named Shinra, I'm going to laugh my ass off because I get a lot of...
The mystical forest of Yaktel.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
And we got to look at the Aetheryte here, what the new ones are going to look like. And then we go to the Old West. So here we are definitively in the Mojave area. This is where I am utterly convinced Lapis Canyon is going to be, which is basically Cosmo Canyon. The aesthetic is identical. There's already been established a ceruleum mine here, where there's a mining company that was strip mining it in the Blue Mage quest.
So ironically, Shalawani, which is the name of the zone, is on the second continent to the north and is directly south of Solution 9.
Mm-hmm. Adjacent, even.
It is.
Yep. And I believe, here it is. Macarena Forest. The legendary City of Gold. Thoughts, because my interpretation of the City of Gold has always been that it's not a literal City of Gold, but Emmett Selk made it sound like it was. So do you think it's an actual City of Gold? Because we get to see parts of it. There is a golden glow from it, and I'm assuming this is going to be... Yeah,
he says the fabled golden cities of the New World.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, two things. First, the wording of... So, first, we're kind of led to believe here that Solution 9 is at the end of this journey, at Journey's End. Though, by the way, at Journey's End is a really ominous way of wording things in regards to, it means the end of a journey, but it also means death.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, so I'm creeped out a bit by that, and my recent theories don't help at all. Not saying it's going to happen here, but I see Dawntrail as the building blocks of what's to come, Right. So that's why it creeps me out. So here in this scene here, I've likened Solution 9 to Academia a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you were the first one. You were the first one to.
I was the first one because it's like Academia and Estar had a baby.
So do you see here the blocks around?
Yep.
Do you recall Academia 500 AF?
I
when
do.
It's all
very much reminds me of
Tetris. Yeah, the Tetris.
The Tetris City.
The Tetris City. Yeah. So that's why there's the mix. There's the mix here. Solution 9 is all like permeated violet because of line ether, but here we see the gold, and the gold is actually much closer to 500 AF Academia than the purple one. And it was like, oh wow, this is certainly the block. This is almost a 1-to-1 to Academia's Tetris blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's.
I could see that. Also, Interestingly enough, gold's atomic number is 79. This is 7.0, and we have solution 9. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
And the alchemical
Yeah.
symbol for gold is the sun. So
Yeah,
lots of parallels here.
but that one, the alchemical symbol the alchemical metal for sun being gold. That one was definitely one of the. It's almost subconscious. I kind of sometimes. I mean, not everyone knows, of course, but sometimes like, oh, right, we have to to quote Van Daniel, explanation is in order.
Yes.
Sorry,
Exposition.
is in order.
Yes.
That.
So I agree with you 100%. They never show the final zone in the trailer. Like it's always a huge reveal. So yeah, and gold can be substituted as golden, which can be knowledge or bounty. Yeah, something very valuable. Knowledge and information, especially in this game, can be very, very valuable. So.
You know something that's really closely associated with gold?
Mm-hmm.
The Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
No.
I watched you play it.
No, you didn't. I never played 4 on stream.
How dare. Which one
I
did
know,
you play?
but
Valhalla?
it reminds me...
Which one was the most ships?
Valhalla was shit,
Okay.
so that's why I never played it.
Oh.
I played Origins and Odyssey, but...
Odyssey, that was the one I was
this,
thinking of. Okay.
This reminds me of the Observatory, for those that have actually played Black Flag. Do you remember when we went and fought Torres at the very end with all of those shifting blocks?
No, I didn't play it.
AC Gears and Arms has.
So one curious thing about the Philosopher's Stone.
Mhm.
Now that we're on that, do you any of you guys know about the alchemical process of turning lesser metals into gold?
I know it doesn't work.
I meant as in. Long story short, there's like 3 different process which culminates in gold, but
Right.
it's less. This is less about the Philosopher's Stone. I'm going into alchemy, and I have notes on alchemy. Fuck my life. No, I literally was just going back on my alchemy notes for PA tests.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's high concept and all that. So it's kind of like, but. So basically, it's less about alchemy is less about achieving something material, and rather the pursuit of something greater, like the transition from, if you want, ascension or transcendence. Aeneas would be thrilled for me to mention this, I suppose. But it's more about the journey. It's more about the journey than the result.
Right.
So. So there's 3 processes that the lesser metal has to go through as to achieve gold, to the state of gold, which would be the state of perfection. And one of the first one is called nigredo. It means it's related to black. It's basically the state in which the metal sheds impurities. Then comes albedo. Which is when the metal turns into white and closer to silver. Silver is like the intermediate state between the state of impurity and the state of enlightenment, if you will. And then comes the rubedo, which is the red one, which is the state right before the citinitas, which would be the gold. And I don't know if you may have noticed this, but black, white, and red are the colors of the Asian mask.
Yep.
Or the ancients' mask. And then we have gold as the ultimate, and we see a number of golden things. Like, for example, Asum's summoning glyph, at least. I'm not sure if Asum's glyph would be golden, but at least the summoning glyph is golden.
Yeah, I would
of
say
course,
it is.
but yeah, this is something. So this thing about the alchemical process and the ancient's mask is something that I have been pondering ever since Shadowbringers, and learning that Asem is supposed to wear a black mask, or at least is represented in certain in certain scenes wearing a black mask.
Right.
And of course the lesser Asians black masks. Learning that most of them were a white mask with silver accents, and the convocation wore the red ones.
Right.
And this is something that's kind of been like at the back of my mind for like 5 years now, but not knowing what it may mean, I have not really spoken about that. But all this talk about gold and golden and all that, it makes me think back of alchemical theory, especially after going into Hephaestus and all that. Anyways, yeah,
Right.
that's my issue.
No, it's good stuff. AC, I watched my wife play it. I have not played it. So anyway, back to the trailer. Here we have the Stargate, which
There's
is currently
something
closed.
there's something almost Allegan in that, but I don't.
Kind of. It's very geometric, kind of like Allegan is, but it doesn't match a
No,
lot. Like the blue projections here don't match Allegan architecture, and the blocks certainly don't.
It is not their color scheme
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. So I do not think this is Allegan. That said, it is possible that this is a doorway to another shard.
Hmm.
And that's kind of been my hot take, is that's what we're going to
It's
find.
a vault to find. It's a vault to find Fallout 76. That's all it is.
Here we have Kryle looking confused. No, not confused, but just kind of Kryle being Kryle. Gears are turning. And we see the blocks lighting up with the same kind of glyphs that we've been seeing through the entire thing. So this is kind of what made me think back to that stone relic earlier. Where was it? That Uklamat was holding. This one here. And made me think that it's connected to Solution 9. Because even though it looks very low tech, if you look at what's going on here, which this is almost definitely in Solution 9, you see the same glyphs pop up as holograms here. So,
Yeah.
another shared...
Glyphs again remind me of the observatory from Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they used a lot of that too.
It's possible. And again, lightning. We see Lalafell's going through the Stargate. Running, not calmly. Running. Like, this is not a willing thing. And then they...
Yeah, they're terrified of something and they have to leave something behind.
Yeah. And leaving and crying. So something happened. And then they sealed it.
Yep.
So I don't know if they were trying to keep something in or out. But the road will be a difficult one. Because if it was an easy one, it wouldn't be worth doing. Yeah, and here, again, the lightning ether, the bubble. I don't quite know.
Another thing about Solution 9. So during the live letter, everyone's been curious about Solution 9, that it was going to be like one of the final areas. Yoshida actually mentioned that it will be the second city that we will go to.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's a given. Second full city.
The second
There's only...
city.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised by that, considering it's a hub city. But it's...
I can imagine.
It will basically be Yulemore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Idle Shire, basically. Yeah, basically.
Idleshire was later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why.
But Yulmore was the second city that we went to. In other words, if you had a choice, obviously, in Shadowbringers to whether or not you go to that one area or the other. But regardless, Yulmore was the second area and also a hub, an endgame hub that you used.
No.
I wouldn't to say the second city you go to. It's I see it as a misguiding statement. The second city you go to can be something very much like Idleshire, which is the second city we visit, but we don't visit until very late in game, which is the Dravanian hinterlands. All the rest are zones. So we are of course going to start in Tural, but it can be at least 4 zones before we get to Solution 9. That would be our hub.
I will say this. Yes, I absolutely agree with Mouth. Saying that it's the second city we go to when we really only have 2 hub cities is kind of misdirecting, especially considering that this is in the Mojave Zone, and later on we see a town that we're going to have to visit before we come here, and it's the one with the little saloon and everything, kind of the Old West. So we're definitely going to see other settlements before we see Solution 9. And yeah, AC Gears and Arms says Solution 9 could potentially be a smokescreen or distraction from the real secret. 1000%. It is an absolute distraction. There are secrets related to Solution 9, and I think whatever's going on is related to Solution 9, but I don't think Solution 9 is the thing. I think that we have gotten so focused on it because it's so different and so unexpected that it's not. It's detracting from what's actually going on.
I would say first off, I also forgot. You saw the transition between at the Journey's End, the Legendary City of Gold. Mm-hmm. The trailer is clearly the trailer is clearly divided in, I would say, Act 1 and Act 2. The first part of the trailer is like the happy adventure in South Tural, all bright, all shiny, all I'm going to be the next servant and all that.
Right.
And then we go into North Tural, and this is a whole different story. This is like a mood shift in its entirety.
Right.
Starting from we go from the sunny first half to the cloud sky bursting with ether and kind of dark, quote unquote, dark purple vibe in the second one. And what else I was going to say? I do believe that Solution 9 is kind of like a smoke screen to a degree. I would say it's a half smoke screen. We're kind of we were first led when we were introduced to Dawn Trail that this was going to be a sunny, happy summer episode.
And you
then
believe them?
They introduced Solution 9, and everyone latched on that because like this is a very different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that's what attracted me. I was like, I don't want a Happy Beach episode. Oh, it's full of darkness.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what but and of course there's the element of academia going on. But aside from that, but I do believe that there's something of course deeper than Solution 9, because Solution 9 is not the end goal of this whole thing. There has to be at least one zone deeper.
Correct.
Which is like where the real deal of the expansion is. But we don't have to forget also that Dawn Trail is the first in the Neo cycle. Well, the first. If you don't want to count the Void or Pandemonium as the first part of this Neo Trail, which I would argue that Pandemonium is the real prologue to this, and the Void is kind of like an interim between acts in a sense. I would say. I would say that ultimately this is very much part of the stage set for the new cycle. So whatever's going on here not just in Solution 9, but in the deeper zone, is going to end up being just a part of a much bigger shithole.
Right. And yeah, AC
yeah.
Gears and Arms brings up a good point. Interesting to note the ninth seat is Igiorum.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That said, there's been a lot of speculation and some compelling evidence that we're going to get some of the remaining Asians in this that we have not seen before, at least their legacies, both for Pastrot and Ultima, which is exciting because we haven't seen Pastrot since 2.0.
Sorry, Pastrot?
Yes.
Where?
We'll talk about it a bit later.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Pastrot was the one that said Bahamut stirs.
Yep. And then he was never heard from again. 10 years. It's been 10 years since we've seen it. So this is a dungeon. I'm assuming a Solution 9 dungeon. More Solution 9. Again, lightning ether everywhere.
Is this Eliminator? No, or yes? I don't know. Maybe it's a dungeon.
It's the same. It's the Eden model. The same Eden model.
Yeah, I know. I know it's Eden, but.
So here we have the Solution 9 battle fleet coming out. These all have people on them. They're all being piloted, so they're not drones. They are
the warship, just like the Void Ark.
Yeah, but it's powered by lightning. So. Please thank Claire for all of this. And I want to say that they're using the Corellian models for these guys because it would fit, but it's not quite the same. Any chance the natives to Solution 9 are the Albed or their equivalent? That would be cool to see technology scavengers. I don't know if it would quite fit. But you know what? Whatever the final zone is, I think it would be crazy if it was through the portal and the last zone was like on another shard or something. It would be a waste of a shard, but it would be cool to see. Here we have the fight against Valley Garmanda. And of course, lightning everywhere. And this thing over here is interesting. This purple thing. I don't know what it is. It might just be light in the back. But we have the City of Gold here. And this, I feel for whoever had to design this in the game, because that is intense.
No, it looks cool as fuck.
It does look cool.
What is at the top, I wonder?
The Illuminati.
It's a triangle.
Yeah, and here we go. We've got these guys. So the helmets are different than the Corellians, and the armor is as well. So not quite the Corellian model.
That's ceruleum in the background.
Yes, it is. So this is definitely in or close to Lapis Canyon, considering that there's so much ceruleum here. But these guys, they're playing Squid Game. They've got the little little symbol on the front. Now, whether they're drones or actual people, I think they're drones. But again,
they're drones wearing hockey pads.
Yeah. Because I think if there was an actual army of people this large in Solution 9, that people would know about it. And here we see them attacking a
settlements.
Yeah. So this is not the settlement in Solution 9. This is them just attacking the Pelu Pelu. Yeah, and Wuklamant in that screenshot had the serious face like we saw of murals for Queen Gunhilda. Probably her serious moment. This is also probably a serious moment for her. Even though this, I presume, is earlier. We see people being defeated in the back. So she's obviously, finding her strength and
Heritage
motivation.
Found has a much darker atmosphere and is located on the outskirts of Solution 9.
Yeah.
It also has different architecture.
Mm-hmm. So we're into the rapid fire portion of it here. Where it's like, let's do a bunch of rapid cuts. Okay. So here, this is obviously a cave. We've got stalagmites coming up from the ground. And it's obviously very old. The stones are worn. They're not jagged edged. So that means this has been here for a very long time. So we're exploring. Yeah, she axed them. Wook Lamont doing limit break. More Solution 9 boss. Which we've got ads here. Again with the lightning theme. And then her. Not Ashelia.
She is in technology right now, or among technology.
So she's the enigmatic woman. Again, more lightning. So definitely a lot of lightning ether theming in Solution 9. Here we see all the scions together, which means even though we're going to be competing in the beginning, that is not going to hold. We're all going to come together. For sure. I can't wait for Aaronville to just smack someone with his backpack. That's going to be his attack. Just smack.
The Cataman's there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We got the Pictomancer LB. Macalania Forest. Yeah, just a showcase. Yeah, and Graha is also in that group, exactly. He's got to get to the taco somehow. So we've got this key. We're probably going to find this early on, and it's not going to activate until way later, because we see it illuminated later in the trailer. And here we've got the updated map. Okay, this is the town I was talking about. We're going to go here before we go to Solution 9. I am really excited for this town. Like, I was promised this in Shadowbringers and I didn't get it, and now I'm happy that I'm finally going to get it. I just want a bar fight in the saloon. That's what I want. That's all I want is a bar fight. Maybe it's the digitized daughter of them itself from the age of that civilization. So here's the base of Solution.
Here's Alexandria.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, in Alexandria. So here we've got the city underneath. What is presumably Solution 9? I think Solution 9 is bigger than this. But this is the 7 allegory for me. This is the city on the plate. This is very, very much Final Fantasy VII's Midgar. Yeah, the saloon has...
We're in the slums. We're in sectors. We're in like the Sector 7, Sector 6.
Exactly. So this is very much an allegory to that. I also think it's interesting how the trees look very artificial down here. So this was here, and then they built on top of it. Just thought it was interesting. Back to the Stargate.
Low poly trees.
Yeah. Here, when we finally get it open, I think whenever we go through that, that's going to lead to the final zone. Hey, Ein, how you doing? Or it might be a dungeon. But I think it'll be the final zone. Valley Garmonda fight again. So, Valley Garmonda, or Tritok, was a tri-element Esper in 6. Lightning, fire, and ice. Yeah, the key's design makes me have a guess of its function. It's chalice-shaped, so we need to fill it. Very likely. So here, we see it. Something interesting about it, the patterning on this is very reminiscent of the ancient Aetherites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, yeah. This is being handed over. This person is not on the ground. Cryo.
And it glows very, very awesome.
And yeah, see here you can see the same glyphs that we keep seeing over and over again. Before they were kind of muted or smaller, but you get a really good look at them in here. So just because something is made of stone, like, where is it? I don't even know. That right there, doesn't mean that it doesn't fit into this high technology mess, I guess.
And Luke Ronca to a degree, I suppose.
Return the slab!
Aaronville looking confused. And here we see it actually fully illuminated, which is kind of cool. This bottom here, we see ceruleum integrated into this. So it's got gold, ceruleum. And when I agree that we need to fill the chalice, it's either going to be filled with ether or filled with souls, something that we need to go and fill. Or we need to go somewhere and get energy from something. Because it's not going to just be, okay, you have it now, turn around 3 times and look to the west. It's going to be a process. And then we see the banding of Solution 9 at the top with the lightning ether. And this is going to be a key to something. I don't know what. Man in the Gauze.
Yes, I made a Courage the Cowardly Dog reference. No, I don't regret it.
And that's the trailer. That's Dawn Trail. So there's a lot to look forward to here. There's a lot of mystery. I think
you ended it right there. Don't give me that. There's more.
There is more. I think it's really telling how when they announced Dawn Trail, the majority of people, I know myself included, were kind of meh. Okay. Lighthearted summer vacation episode. And then as soon as they revealed Solution 9, we were like, what? And again, that whole, there's more to this. And now
wholesome and heartfelt story.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shaoji.
Yeah, wholesome and heartfelt story full of death and tragedy and depression. But that's why I pay for this game.
Yeah.
Then
what she says here.
Yeah. Yeah, that what she says there makes me think she's a villain. 100%.
She's also got extremely large eyes. Did you notice that? They're larger than a lot of the others.
I get Athena vibes from her. Even though it's not. Athena was not Sunny.
Don't mention Athena around me or
oh.
me or Meowth.
So we get a montage of everyone, Y'shtola included. And of course Y'shtola is going to be there. Like, if we're talking about shard hopping, yeah. Oh, hey, Tenebrae. How you doing? Yeah, we're on early. We changed times. And then we've got... what is it? Raul Montoya. Who is now... it's still a Viper. It might be Menphina's. Where is it? So now... Pause it. So on the back of... Not Ashelia's head. I'll be mad if this wool scene ain't in the game. It'll probably be at the very beginning before we get the Dawn Trail logo that pops up. This is the first place we see her. So I'm actually going to play the audio for her.
Better put her...
Yeah, not at terrible speed.
With your strength, could you have held fast to that which is dear without sacrifice?
Which means that she's trying to justify sacrificing something. That's villain talk right there. Just kind
that almost sounds like Tataru's voice. Just a tinge of it.
I could hear it. But on the back of her head, there's her hair brooch is the glyph of Pasturat.
It's either that or her belt.
Yeah.
It's actually her belt.
Is it her belt?
No.
It is her belt.
No.
Yeah, it's her belt.
It's both.
It's both.
Her belt?
Yeah. The one we kind of likened to Alexander, it also matches with Pasturat's.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they showed in this one.
I'm going to hold my conclusions on them.
I hope it's Pastorot. We need something. Pastorot has been left to rot. Yeah, we haven't seen him in 10 years. And exactly, we all knew
It's
Katara
the
was
beginning of the Solution 9 stuff.
Yeah.
Keep going.
She's only up for like a split second. Let's go through it.
Just go ahead and play it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff here. I usually make a video of trying to predict what's going to happen in 8.0. I have honestly
On
no
the
idea where
matter,
this is
on
going.
the while I'm not entirely sure as to match this mysterious girl with Pastorot, though. I was kind of going over what level we have of Pastorot would be. By the way, Pastorot's opposing Esper in 12 is Ramos. And let me find you
Who's dead now?
the Espers. The Espers.
Oh, there she was. So I think it would be hilarious if she was an unascended shard of Pastorot. A servant of the order.
Okay, let me. So Zeromus Pastorot, Esper of Gravity. I'm going to send this to you, so you can. It's 3 what? I mean, it's divided in episodes, but 3:28. Here.
Watch.
Because some parts of Sermus's final attack make me think a bit of Solution 9, so I would be not entirely on board, but wouldn't discard either. You know.
I'm gonna say we're gonna make you eat crow, aren't we?
I believe Galuf has something to do with this. Mind you, it's based on what I know of Final Fantasy V. I've played 5. I know Galuf can solo everything by himself. It doesn't mean he lives, but he can solo everything. Absolutely everything. So, all right, let's take a look at this.
You know, I'm fine with eating crow because this is very much a speculation, you know.
Right.
So I when you're lore diving and speculating, you have to keep yourself an open mind as to know that regardless of what you think, you don't have the truth. So.
Right. All right. So Zeromus. What do you got? What's your speculation? And then Cecil killed him.
It's like, I mean, Zeromus technically is the Esper of Gravity.
Right.
But there's definitely some Espers in the Deathblow sequence. There's definitely an element of lightning in there thrown into that. And there's the ball. So Zeromus's energy attack manifests as a ball of energy, which kind of reminds me of how Solution 9 seems to manifest. Of course, this is all, maybe it's just coincidence, maybe not. But since we're discussing Pastorot here, then I consider that perhaps you could somewhat trace it to this discussion.
Right. No, I would be interested in that, considering we just dealt with Zeromus. It would fit, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of still hooked in the fact that they did mention about bear in mind the name of the seats of the convocation, and I'm like, that's something that I'm like. So because so far, the only sort of hint at Asian things or seems to be what we kind of identified as Ultima's glyph.
Yeah, from the Arcadian. That's more for boards of
Um,
Ultima, but yeah.
Yeah, but which is another entirely kind of worms, you know. That's
Right.
but I'm not sure to what extent the Asians may be involved into this whole thing. Kind of like strange. There's something that.
So yeah, my personal hope is that there's not a direct involvement. That this is just the result of their work having played itself out to its natural conclusion.
Or, so you know the other thing that kind of makes me go because they also mentioned refreshing or playing Myths of the Realm,
right?
And the fact that you for example, you see in the Archaean, I think there was the thing we kind of theorize as Ultima's glyph, but like golden.
Right.
And I'm thinking if the 12 were basically Renar's attempt at light, quote-unquote, convocation, are we dealing with Solution 9 being a project of the 12?
It's possible.
And instead of being the seats of the convocation, we're like dealing with something made by the 12. As in, I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm trying to say.
Maybe. I think it would be interesting, for sure. Like I don't know if they would have been as willing. Well, no, because we had Rhalgr and Byregot, who were both lightning based. I don't know. I do like that you can see the texture on our glove. Nice. But yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, they've left so much in the dark for this expansion that it's really hard to tell.
Because in a sense, I'm not sure if in a sense, I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure what the whole. Something about this whole about this. I can see traces to the ancients, but then again, the 12 were also based in the ancients, so it could be just a matter of sharing the same culture to the Asians, you know.
Yeah. And to be fair, the 12 were also made to stabilize the star when things got chaotic, as stated by them in Myths of the Realm. Yep. 100%. So I don't know. I think in general the 12 tend more towards light. So I don't know. Even though we do get an astral and umbral element to them, whereas.
No, that's just polarity. That's
right.
not.
Right.
You know, it's not so much as.
Yeah, and I use astral and umbral instead of light and dark, because I feel like on the source it fits them more than light and dark. So, whereas Rhalgr would be umbral lightning and Byregot astral lightning, Byregot would be dark lightning, and Rhalgr would be light lightning. Because one represents change and the other is just kind of
yeah, but yeah, it's kind of.
I mean, they both represent change, really.
So,
one's creation, one's destruction.
I'm kind of expecting. So basically, my how should I put this? Not sure if it was the same for you guys, but Myths of the Realm. Myths of the Realm was one of the major sources of my frustration with Endwalker in the sense of story-wise.
I agree.
Endwalker. I can. It's not that I don't like Endwalker, but I think at least with some parts I don't vibe with. I, for example, can appreciate Vena's character for being flawed, and even though I don't necessarily have to agree with her, there's the element of admitting that it was not her decision to make, you know. So I can get behind that. I can respect that. But what really pissed me off of Myths of the Realm is the glorification of Vena's actions, and the game trying to convince me that what she did was all for the best.
Correct.
And that's really annoyed me. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like when they try to force a narrative down my throat.
Yeah, when the game gets preachy at you, it's like, this is the right thing, even if it was wrong.
Which is something that Shadowbringers didn't. I really appreciate Shadowbringers because Shadowbringers was not trying to force down your throat that the Assassins were doing something good.
Right. It just presented both sides and said, here's the situation, make your own choice, which I did like.
Yes, and so when it came to Myths of Endwalker per se did not annoy me that much. I mean, I could get behind some things and some other things. In the end, I like the premise that it all Sinus's premise are kind of, you know, the whole thing about this all boils down to your answer, not the real answer. But then Myths of the Realm came and tried to force to me like all of this is out of love, all of this is out of the boundless love that Hydaelyn felt for the people, and I'm like, you basically, you guys are presenting yourselves to me as this sort of benevolent caretakers of the world, but you're all deep down, you're all, regardless of your motives, you're all usurpers. You know, that's what really that is something I really did not vibe with, and one of the reasons that pissed me off so much, I actually had to take the month-long break is to process things and try to think from a less involved standpoint. And still, Myths of the Realm really piss me off, and if I get into the raids, I'm going to enjoy beating the shit out of the 12 because they piss me, they annoy me. But something about Dawn Trail and the 12 strikes me as maybe this is actually something deliberate, that the writers are trying to lead us into this direction, into this. They're trying to goad us into this thinking of, the world as it is good. What Hydaelyn did was great. We're all may we all walk in the light. The 12 are benevolent, and they all wanted the best for Atheris. Blah blah blah. What if this all is leading to a subversion? Not necessarily saying they're evil, but that this was definitely not, on the long run, the best course of action.
I would love that, honestly. And AC Gears and Arms, I think, is half right, where they say they felt the game wasn't trying to glorify it, because Vana did state what she did was not good. She knows the gravity of what she did.
That's why I can't respect Vana. But as a character, I can respect her because she's aware of her own hypocrisy, so to speak. So I can respect a character that can be aware of what I mean, she's not very different from Emmet Selk. You know,
No,
Emmet Selk is not someone who would glorify his actions, but she's not either someone who would seek atonement or be regretful of them, which is something I really appreciate from his character. He did not need a redemption, in the sense of he's not a character that needs to be redeemed, because all he did was in the name of something that he believes is right and good. So it's not someone who did the things he did out of a bad intention. I think Venat's the same. If anything, I appreciate characters that would reflect on their actions and think, okay, maybe this is the reason why. Like, for example, Emmett Selk, when he said, "This is why we fought and why I lost."
Right.
It's kind of implied. So you were fighting for this, and as you were fighting for something for your future, and I'm fighting for the past. Meaning that your conviction was likely something more realistic than mine, but doesn't mean that. But then he says, "But my ideals remain inviolate and invincible," which means still, even if it's your conviction, then this is mine. So I don't really have to concede. I don't have to consider a defeat in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right. He's right. It's just a matter of principles. So, so this sort of character strength with Venat, for example, she says he was wrong. Well, not wrong, perhaps. I would say not in the right, not wrong. It's
right.
kind of there's a difference there. There's a difference there.
And I'm going to pose to you the question AC Gears said. Can you at least pity her for being put in a position like hers? Because honestly, I felt like Vana had more in common with Emmett Selk than she did with us.
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
No,
They're basically a very similar situation. Though in a sense, Emmett Selk also mirrors the Word of Light quite a bit. So it's kind of like Emmett Selk is like in between. He's a very much chameleonic character in the sense that you can see him in many aspects, and that's I think one of the great strengths of his character.
Right.
But Vena, the thing about Vena so the whole thing about Vena is that she freaked out over stuff that she only had like 2 lines of information about, which is but all in all, the whole thing about losing faith in her own people and believing blindly in the future, that was something that was kind of her fault, the Way of Light's fault, you know?
Yeah, I mean, 100% the Warrior's Light fault. It is our fault. But I think she had more than 2 lines. Because when we sat down and told her everything that happened, we told her everything. From the start of ARR to the end of Chapters.
I meant the thing about the plenty. Like she freaked out about the plenty, having only listened to a couple lines from Meteor's report. Which is, I think, something that Yoshi-P did mention in one of the Q&As as one of the reasons that spurred her into the Sundering, believing that the ancients were down the same path. Perhaps they would have been, but perhaps they would have not. So that's something that's we sadly will never know.
Yeah. And AC, I know Yoshi-P said that. I hate that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I really hate the closed loop idea.
I do believe that at some point we're going to challenge a closed loop in a different way, but this is much theory. I know Ayumi is likely writing when I say I am expecting another visit to the past, but not to the not in the LP sense of the visit to the past. Different sort of thing.
The only reason I am not on board with the closed loop is because the 8th Umbral timeline still exists. And
that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, if that had happened after Elpis, I would have been fine with it. But because it happened before we went back, we have another timeline that originated before that split, and it complicates a lot of things. So, yeah, and also in that timeline, Emmett Selk and Elidibus are still alive.
Yes.
Possibly not Elidibus, but Emmett Selk is definitely still alive.
Yeah, and that's what we brought this at least once before.
Right.
But us going into that for whatever reason, I'm expecting shard travel to be related to. Was it Tenebri who said like the other day? Yesterday on the server discussion. I would like to have a quote-unquote villain or dark arc for the Warrior of Light eventually, and Shadowbringers, as much as I love Shadowbringers, Shadowbringers was kind of like a cop-out in that aspect, because we were kind of led to become the Warrior of Darkness, and in the end we're not Warrior of Darkness, we're just Warrior of Darkness by borrowing Emmetzel's title. You know?
Yeah. So, AC Gears, I am going to refute that, because that is a discussion we had very recently. The Ancients would have never made it that far. They would have not gotten to the Plenty if the Sundering hadn't happened. Ultima would have wiped them out.
No, but aside from that, I don't. So I'm not that familiar with the storyline of the Nibiru, but I do believe they were. I do believe from what few I know of them, I think they were kind of like in a hive mind. So when Mitzion posed the question, it made the entire hive mind a short circuit, and the Ancients was definitely not hive minded, and they did already. Though they could be immortal if so wished, they also have a culture that we kind of criticize as them not valuing life enough and kind of glorifying death. But this is important because they could have lived on forever, but they understood the necessity of death.
See, I disagree with them not valuing life, but when there's nothing left, when you have all the knowledge, you've done everything, and you're forced to continue living when there's no questions left, there's nothing left to strive for, and death is really the only new thing. What is it? Is it being forced to live an eternity of essentially boredom and nothing to do, versus deciding to move on? And in that case, it brings a very different perspective, because at that point it's more, and this is completely off topic, it's more about life appearing as a terminal disease than that causes suffering, instead of being something that can be enjoyed. So, but yeah,
you know something that makes me think, and I kind of speculate about this playing a big part. PHS, whatever. Savage, Hefester Savage, not helping at all at assuaging my suspicions. That I believe that the key to, at least in a third, the key to continuing the journey and not falling into the Plenty, so to speak, or any one of the dead ends, but the Plenty likely, lies in the nature of rebirth. The fact that when we go into when the people of Theris go into the Ethereal Sea, their memories are cleansed. So they start a new journey anew. So there's always this sense of new discovery. I believe that Phoenix is a key part in all of this, and well, it would.
Yeah, there's a big motif of being reborn in this game. Just as a whole, it's one of the big themes of the game, and coming together, unity, relying on others, friendship. But I'm glad they got away from defeating others through the power of friendship. But yeah, My Way by Frank Sinatra. That's Vanna's theme right there. So. But
the whole thing is, I'm kind of expecting a subversion of this whole, because, fuck's sake, we kind of, as a summoner, we get a bit of we get kind of like a Hydaelyn Bahamut, and it's like, I understand the reasoning, like, Hydaelyn is definitely important to a degree to the Way of Light, but there's this theme of light, of light invading the world again, which I don't really. It's like it feels to me like a setting for a repeat of the first, and we're going to go down the Shadowbringers path again. I am at least hoping for a proper chance, like in the 8th Emerald Calamity would be a fantastic setting, but because of the reason you mentioned, because Metzel and maybe possibly Elidus they are alive in this timeline. So maybe So maybe because like I said the other day, I don't think for a moment after all of this, they would make us fight them again. It would be like, no.
And
So
at that point, it would get really messy, though. It would be like, okay, we have our timeline. We're gonna do our thing. You go back to your timeline. You can do whatever you want with them, and then that gets really, really, not good. Not a fan of that.
But I would kind of expect at some point the chance to do a proper Shadowbringers, in the sense of not necessarily going through the method of the rejoining, of course, but taking their aid and working with them and learning more about the Asians as people, not as and working with basically working with them. And we have the key to that. Really, we do have Asum's crystal that is basically proof to Emet-Selch that, hey, you gave this to me. I'm Asum, you know.
Yeah.
You basically show that to him, and you bet your ass the writers would jump at the chance of making that emotional as fuck. And as for Elizabeth, we know both of the remaining of Sander's real names if we have done Pandemonium. So it's like, if we wanted to prove ourselves to Elizabeth, we could go for that as well. So, you know, if it could be this whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I'm kind of. So the reason I say an ASEAN expansion would be a nice way to tackle the shards, or a possible rejoining of souls for the Word of Light, not for the entirety of Etheris, but for the Word of Light, perhaps, is because the ASEANs know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically, kind of like.
AC Gears just summed up my thoughts and what I was trying to say earlier in the cast pretty succinctly. We're like the maid cleaning up their messes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, trying to deal with the consequences of things they did, both Vana and the Asians, and dealing with that and cleaning it all up and trying to keep everything together while things that have been set in motion play out without them being able to guide it anymore. So, yes, that's a great analogy. And Ayumi, the new 8.0 title is going to be Time Breaker. It's gonna be a time travel expansion, and we're just gonna go back and ruin everything. It's gonna be great. We're gonna go back to the 5th era.
We already have.
We're gonna spark the War of Maha and Amdapur. We are going to trigger all of the calamities ourselves. It's gonna be great.
I'm expecting Mercy.
We're gonna create 50 new timelines.
I'm going to expect Mercy for 8.0, and hopefully my longed for 13 expansion base.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get Meracidian in 8.0. We also might actually get to see Ilsapard unclouded.
Uncloud Ilsabard.
Yes. The Angel of Cries and not Scribe.
That would be a nice thing to, yeah, but not sure. Ilsabard is like this strange situation with we only have basically Garlemald unclouded, and it's like
yeah, pretty much.
There's so many places we could visit in Ilsabard, and yeah, but not sure if we would be given an Ilsabardian expansion though.
Not specifically. I think if we get one, it'll be part of Meracidia. It would be a split expansion, because Meracidia it's big, but it's not that big.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, even though it would be a repeat of Stormblood. Though it makes sense. If this is our Heavensward, then it would make sense that Meracidia would be our Stormblood. Mm-hmm. And then if we go to work with the Asians, hypothetically speaking, of course, it would be our Shadowbringers. Yeah. You know?
Maybe we'll finally get to see Halmrod. We'll walk into a big smoky room. He'll be there in a robe wearing sunglasses,
Bottle of bourbon in his
bottle
hand.
of bourbon in his hand, looking for his rug.
That's just your opinion, man.
Well, I'd love to stay, but I've got to leave.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up here. So thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for joining us today. Looking forward to Dawn Trail. We're going to probably have one more stream before the game comes out, as far as doing some lore diving. But yes, thank you, and we will see you soon.
See you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.